Imagine peering through the windshield of a commercial airliner in the late 1950s. You're a pilot navigating the night sky, isolated in pitch darkness. Commercial airliners at this time maxed out around 20,000 feet. Yet, out the window, you see an impossibly bright, glowing silver object hovering miles above you in the stratosphere. You might assume you had just encountered a craft from another world, but the object reflecting light above the clouds belonged entirely to the United States government. The world's most enduring UFO myth began as a side effect of high-stakes classified engineering projects. Look at this satellite view of the Nevada desert. At the center of this sprawling dry lake bed and intersecting runways sits Area 51, a military installation isolated entirely from public view and standard flight paths. For decades, the government refused to acknowledge this base even existed. The perimeter, seen on this warning sign, was heavily patrolled and threatened deadly force against trespassers. By locking down the desert and erasing the facility from the map, the military created an absolute information vacuum. Without facts, the public filled the void with paranoia. In the 1950s, the Cold War pushed American defense priorities to the absolute limit. To gather intelligence on the Soviet Union, the military desperately needed an aircraft that could fly far above the reach of enemy anti-aircraft missiles. Take a look at the U-2 spy plane. It was built specifically to operate at 70,000 feet, the absolute edge of space. Getting there required solving massive engineering problems. At 70,000 feet, the air is extremely thin, meaning a plane generates very little lift. To stay airborne, engineers equipped the U-2 with disproportionately massive, glider-like wings. Inside the framework, standard aviation fuel boils at that extreme altitude. Chemists had to invent an entirely new, specialized fuel formula. Surviving the stratosphere meant discarding the established rules of aviation. The result was a machine that looked entirely unnatural. With its immense wingspan and unpainted silver fuselage, the U-2 didn't look like a standard jet. From thousands of feet below, its silhouette appeared as a bright, glowing disk. While a commercial airliner cruising at 20,000 feet would be engulfed in the pitch darkness of early evening, a U-2 flying at 70,000 feet remained high enough to catch the bright rays of the setting sun. Tracing the line of sight from the pilot up to the illuminated U-2, the intense reflection turns it into a fiery, hovering orb. Whenever civilians spotted these glowing orbs, or when experimental craft inevitably crashed, the military needed an alibi. This photo shows a high-altitude weather balloon, the exact cover story the government frequently deployed, most famously during the Roswell crash in 1947. The U-2 operated on physics and geometries that the public simply did not understand. To an untrained observer on the ground, extreme altitude engineering was indistinguishable from alien technology. As civilian sightings multiplied and local newspapers began printing stories of flying saucers, the military made a tactical choice. They remained silent and let the rumors spread. The UFO hysteria was incredibly useful. The idea of extraterrestrials provided a self-sustaining smokescreen, perfectly hiding classified spy planes from Soviet intelligence. But there was a human cost. Commercial pilots and Nevada residents who reported these glowing orbs were gaslit. The government mocked and dismissed them for describing exactly what they had seen. The United States chose to exploit the fears of its own citizens to maintain a precarious technological advantage in the Cold War. This collage of vintage headlines and sterile government denials captures the long-term fallout. The cover stories successfully kept the U-2 hidden from the Soviets, but they steadily eroded the American public's faith in their leaders. The historical record shows that Area 51's secrets are terrestrial. The base serves as a monument to human pilots and engineers who tested the physical limits of flight. This military secrecy achieved a technological victory at the edge of space, but it also left a permanent stain